Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video we are going to talk about C programming and I'll be trying to cover the for loop statement in this video. So let's start the video. So first of all, let us briefly discuss about the for loop. For loop statement is used to repeat because we are talking about loops. So most of the loops repeat a particular kind of statements. So in case of for loop repeats a statement for a specified number of times. But now the question is how many times or how many repetitions a for loop can make. For that, we have to understand the syntax for loop. So here is the syntax for loop. For loop can be written in this way. For, then you have the bracket here. In the bracket, there are three statements. You have to keep in mind 1, 2, 3 statements are there, which are separated by a semicolon. Okay, so first statement is the init expression, which is to initialize the expression. Then we will have to provide the condition for the loop, and then the loop expression, how the loop will grow or will increase with respect to time. And after that, you can put your program statement, whatever program you want to write. So this is one way of writing the for loop, in which the program statement or the program statement will be repeated. Only one line will be repeated after the for loop. But suppose you want to repeat multiple statements repeatedly in the for loop, then in that case, we have to use this kind of statement where you have the for, then you will have the bracket, same three expressions, the initialization expression, loops condition, and loops expression. Then after that, you can have multiple statements within the curly braces, and all these statements will be executed each time when the loop keeps on repeating. So remember here, in this statement, which is represented in the orange box, only one line will be executed after the for loop. Whereas in case of curly braces, all the statement within the curly braces will be repeated multiple times. And remember, all these conditions, all the three conditions are optional. So that means you can avoid putting any of these options in the for loop. It is not mandatory to keep all these three options, or you have to write something for the three options. You can even have a for loop where you can write it like this: for bracket, semicolon, semicolon, and then done. So here in this case, I have not written a single statement for loop. This type of for loop is used to write a program which will repeat itself for infinite time. Repeats infinite time. Okay. So remember, it is not mandatory to write the expressions for the for loop also, but depends on the programming skills of a person. Now, the body I have explained you. The body, this is the body of the for loop. For loop can execute 0 or more times depending on the conditions we have written in the for loop. The rest I have explained about this last line. Now, the for statement. First component for the for statement is init expression, which is used to set the initial values before the loop begins. I have explained you in the previous slide. Then the loop continues as long as the loop condition is satisfied. And when the loop condition is not satisfied, the loop will be broken, or the for loop will terminate. Next, the for statement can be terminated even by using break command, goto command, or return command, which are written within the statement's body or the for loop's body. So it is not mandatory that the loop can only come out when the loop condition is satisfied. Apart from that, you can have break command, goto command, or return command to break the for loop. Now, the last component of the loop statement is called loop expression, and this expression will decide how the loop will progress. Most of the time you might have seen plus plus sign or minus minus sign with some variable, and the loop will keep on incrementing by 1. It is not mandatory that you have to increase the loop by 1 only. You can increase it with any other expression also, or decrease the loop according to your choice. So this is all about the details of for loop. So let us try to see an example file, and then from that we can explore more about the loop statement. So this is the program which we are going to execute today. Okay, so let us go to the for loop. Here is the for loop which is written, and then we have to build the program. So let us build the program. For that you can come here and build the program. If you have not seen the video to install and write programs in CodeBlock, then I would recommend you to visit my previous videos in this playlist, so that you can understand how to install and run programs using CodeBlocks. So we have compiled the program, and we can see there is 0 error and 0 warnings. So the program is without any error. Let us execute the program step by step. For that I will go on the top, and step into button will be pressed. So now we are going to execute the program step by step. Okay, so in this first example I am going to give you an example of this kind of statement where you have for, then in that you have initial expression, then after that loop, and then loop expression for the growth of the for loop. Okay, and then when you have a single statement which will be executed. So let us see this example. Here we have int a which we are going to execute. So the variable int a is the variable, int is the data type, and we are initializing it with a 0. Okay, and then we are going to use the for loop to run the program. So let us go to the next line. So here the condition is, initial condition is int I equal to 0. So this is the first initial expression. So we are initializing I with 0. Then we are checking the loop's condition, which is how many times the loop will run. The loop will run until unless I is less than 5. Okay, then how the loop is going to grow, or the loop expression is, we can say. So the loop is going to grow in this fashion. It will keep on incrementing by 1. So I is 0. Loop will run until unless I is less than 5, and I will keep on incrementing by 1 every time the loop executes. Okay, so let us try here. So in this you can see in the watch window a is 0. I is a garbage value right now. So let us execute the program. So now the value of I is 0 because it has been initialized, and we are incrementing a with this function a is equal to a plus 5. Okay, remember only one line after the for loop will be executed here in this case, because a is equal to a plus I is not within the curly braces, and these lines are also not in the curly braces. So these lines printf will not be executed. Only a single statement after for loop will be executed. How many times it is going to execute? Till I is less than 5. Let us check. So I is 1 now, I is 2 now. You can keep an eye on the right side here in the watch window. I is 3. And you can see how the value of a is also changing. Right now a is 3, and then a is equal to a plus I. So 3 plus 3. Okay, so in this fashion the program will grow, and you can see the change in the value of a and the change in the value of I. Now the program, the for loop has been completed, and we are out of the for loop, and now the program is going to execute printf the value of a, because percentage I, this is data specifier, and it contains the value of the variable a. Okay, so let us see the console, because that line has been executed. So here in the console you can see the value of a is 10. Okay, here from the watch window also you can cross check it. The value of a is 10. Okay, now let us move ahead. Go to the second program, where you can see in the for loop we have three variables x, y, z, and we are initializing all these three variables x, y, z with value x equal to 0, y equal to 10, and z equal to 20. And the loop's condition is the loop will run only till x is less than 2. And how the loop is going to grow? By incrementing the value of x by 1. Okay, so let us check here. Remember, now here in this case we have three variables which are initialized simultaneously. So let us see here. You can see x is 0, y is 10, and z is 20. So we have initialized the value, and how many times the loop will run? Loop will run till x is less than 2. Let us check here. The value of x is 0. Now the x is 1. The moment x is equal to 2, so till that time or till that many times the loop will repeat, and you can see here the loop has been finished and you are out of the for loop. So let us go to the next example, and you can see the sum of x plus y plus z is printed in this particular console. Let us check the console. You can see here the value of x plus y plus z is 30. The value of x plus y plus z is 31, because every time the loop repeats this particular line, printf will also repeat. Okay, which is within the curly braces. Now let us go to the next example. Here we are initializing a variable d with 1. Okay, so let us go for that. So d equal to 1. And now you can see here in this for loop, the first initialization condition is missing. So it is, like I said before, it is not mandatory that you keep all the conditions within the for loop. It is not mandatory. So I am here not using the initial condition, but there is a condition for the loop to grow. That is, the loop will repeat till d is less than 3. And the loop will grow by plus 1. So d equal to d, d plus 1, d plus 2, and until unless d is less than 3, the loop will keep on repeating. So here this is an example where you don't have the condition for initial looping. Okay, let us execute this particular line, and you can see d is 1 in the watch window also. So let us execute this part. So d is 1, then d is 2, and d is 3. Okay, and you are out of the loop. Let us check the console. Here we can see in the console the current value of variable d is 1, the current value of variable d is 2. Okay, so we have repeated this particular statement 2 times because d is less than 3. Okay, done. Now let us go to the last example here, where we have three variables p, q, and r, and we are initializing p equal to 0, q equal to 1, and r equal to 1. So this is the initialization statement for initialization. And then to check the condition, we are checking three conditions simultaneously. The first condition is p is less than 4, or q is less than 64, or r is less than 100. So all these three conditions will be tested simultaneously for the looping condition. And how the loop is going to grow? With the function p is equal to p plus 1, because we are having p plus plus. And from the previous video you might remember, we are going to use this compound operator star equal to, which means q equal to q into 2. Okay, you can write q equal to q into 2, or you can use compound operator to shorten the program's line. Okay, so here we are using two compound operators, and then we are going to execute this line also. So these three statements will be repeated each time the for loop repeats, because these three statements are within the curly braces. So all these three statements will be executed. Otherwise, if there is no curly braces, then only the next statement after the for loop will be executed. Rest of the lines will not be executed. So because we want all these three statements to be executed each time for the for loop, we want these curly braces to cover these three instructions. Let us execute the program and check the values of PQR. So you can keep an eye on PQR here. Right now PQR carries some garbage value because they have not been initialized. So after that you can see P is initialized, Q is initialized, and R is initialized with 0, 1 and 1 respectively. Now let us execute the line. So Q equal to Q into 2, so 2. Then after that R equal to R into 3, so 3. Then let's print I. So the value of P will go to this particular data specifier, Q will go to this data specifier, and R will go to this data specifier. Let us execute again, because till now P is less than 4 and Q is less than 64 and so on. So let us repeat this program, and you can see the value of PQR which is growing on the right end of the watch window. So now P is 64, Q is 32 and R is 243. Okay, and then let us check. We will be out of the loop because P has gone up to 5. Now let us check if the program runs. No, the program came out of the loop, and we can check here. We are out of the loop, and in the console we can see we have a table here which shows 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is for the value of P, and then you have 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, which is for the Q, and then we have 3, 9, 27, 81, 243, 729, which is for R. Okay, because here you can see Q into Q equal to Q into 2. So every time it is a multiple of 2, and R is a multiple of 3. You can see here in the table. So this is how we can use for loops, and of course you can try more different approaches of for loop to make your program or make your loops in the future. So this covers the example for loop, and for any other doubts or suggestions, please use the comment section. If you have not subscribed the channel, then I would request you to please subscribe the channel. Thank you and stay safe.